Girlfriend's jealousy turned toxic. She humiliated my sister over her self-harm scars. Now I'm choosing family over our relationship. I'm a 20-year-old guy, and I've been officially dating my girlfriend, who's 22, for about 10 months now. We'd known each other even before we started seeing each other, and our relationship had been really strong. This trip home was supposed to be a highlight. My sister, also 22, had her birthday coming up, and I was set to spend 3 weeks at home to celebrate, with her and the rest of my family. It felt only natural that my girlfriend should come along, meet everyone, and finally see this important part of my life. She was excited by the idea, and when I called my parents about it, they welcomed us both, even preparing the spare room just for her. When we first arrived, everything was perfect. There was this genuine connection between my girlfriend and my family, especially with my sister. My sister's birthday was an amazing day. My girlfriend and my sister seemed to click, laughing, talking, and giving each other warm, sisterly energy. Seeing them vibing like that meant the world to me. These two women are my heart, and it filled me with such warmth and relief to see them embracing each other. But just after the birthday, something in the atmosphere shifted. My girlfriend seemed colder, especially toward my sister. She became less pleasant, less warm. Things came to a head on a sunny afternoon when my sister suggested we all go swimming at the beach, a perfect chance for relaxation and more bonding. My girlfriend was up for it. She'd packed her swimwear and everything. Everything was fun at first, but after we'd swum and were lounging on the sand, my girlfriend's eyes caught something on my sister's legs: scars. My sister has battled some really rough years of depression, and during her worst periods, she used to self-harm. The scars cluster high on her thighs, usually hidden by her usual clothes. But in that bikini, they were naked and unmistakable. She's terribly sensitive about them. She hides them, worries about what people might think, even though my parents and I always tell her they don't matter, and we love her. My girlfriend just blurted out, "What are those?" My sister, composed but clearly uncomfortable, said, "Those are scars from when I used to self-harm." The conversation could have ended there with a little respect and compassion. Instead, my girlfriend pressed, "Why on earth would you do that?" I jumped in, trying to give her an easy out, explaining that my sister went through a really hard time, but it's behind her, and as a family, we've made it through together. But my girlfriend just kept going, saying, "It's a stupid thing to do. Why would anyone hurt themselves? I think girls who do that just do it for attention." My sister told her she had no idea what she was talking about, no idea what it's like to wake up every day hating yourself. But my girlfriend held her ground, claiming again that it was just about attention seeking, even tossing out, "I'm so glad I don't have scars like that." My sister could only reply, "Well, good for you," before storming off down the beach, trying to put as much distance as possible between herself and that conversation. I was left stunned in the sand next to my girlfriend. I turned to her, asking what the hell had come over her, why she'd said something so cruel. She tried to defend herself, claiming she hadn't meant to be mean and that my sister was just being too sensitive, taking things the wrong way. I told her flat out that her words were unbelievably thoughtless and could really hurt, especially given my sister's history. I left her there and went to find my sister, trying hard to make her laugh and not talk about what had just happened. Eventually, we did laugh, but she slipped in a jab, "You sure know how to pick them, huh?" I told her I had no idea why my girlfriend was acting like this, that she's normally sweet and caring, and I didn't get what was going on. Later, I pulled my girlfriend aside for a serious talk. I explained, probably more patiently than I felt, why what she said was so deeply hurtful. My sister had never wanted anyone's attention. She'd been fighting an internal battle, and dismissing that pain as shallow attention seeking was as cruel as it was ignorant. I told her an apology was the least she owed my sister, and that gesture might just help mend the rift. To her credit, my girlfriend agreed. She offered what sounded like a genuinely heartfelt apology to my sister, and my sister, always trying to diffuse tension, said she'd overreacted and reassured her not to feel bad. I wanted that to be the end of it. God, I needed it to be. But it wasn't. The very next day, at a crowded restaurant, things unraveled again. Our lunch order got messed up. The waiter brought my sister the wrong dish. Naturally, my sister wanted to tell the staff and get what she'd ordered. My girlfriend kept insisting she just eat what she got and not make a fuss, saying it'd make things take even longer. My sister refused. She wanted what she paid for. It seemed like a small thing, but somehow it turned ugly. My girlfriend snapped, "Why do you always have to be the center of everything? Why does it always have to be about you?" My sister, hurt and confused, asked why my girlfriend was being so mean, why she seemed to hate her. She told her she'd really tried to like her and be nice, but now she felt my girlfriend was just being cruel for no reason. My girlfriend lashed back, saying she thought my sister was entitled, self-absorbed, and narcissistic. I sat there, watching two of the most important women in my life hurt each other, absolutely lost as to how things had gotten so out of control. All I wanted was for the people I loved to find peace with each other, but suddenly everything was falling apart. My sister looked like she was on the verge of tears, her eyes filling up right there in the restaurant. And then my girlfriend, with ice in her voice, snapped, "I don't give a fuck if you cry. What, are you going to go cut yourself?" The words seemed to echo, and suddenly my sister broke down, sobbing loudly in front of everyone. It was so awkward, people all around us, every head turning in our direction. She clung to me, crying into my shoulder while I wrapped my arms around her, doing my best to comfort her as she shook with each sob. I glared at my girlfriend and told her I was incredibly upset, and that she needed to leave us alone for a while. She just got up, brushed it all off, and spat, "Make sure drama queen doesn't hang herself or slice her wrists open," before she stalked out. I stayed there with my sister for what felt like forever, just holding her as she cried and cried. The whole meal was ruined, we barely touched our food, and eventually I took her to the bathroom to try and help her clean up. While we splashed cold water on her face, she kept asking me through her tears, "Why does she hate me so much? What have I done to her? Am I really that bad?" I hugged her tight and whispered that there was nothing wrong with her, that she'd done nothing wrong at all. But I knew right then that I needed to have a serious talk with my girlfriend. I couldn't believe how she was acting. If she had a problem with me, she should have taken it up with me, not unloaded it on my sister like that. After we got home, my sister still looked so raw. She went to her room and I braced myself for a confrontation. I sat my girlfriend down and we had a conversation I never expected to need. Instantly, she started apologizing, as if she'd been waiting for me. I know. I am so sorry. I don't know what's come over me." She admitted she'd been acting cruel, something she just couldn't understand. I told her I knew her as a kind person, but now, well, she was acting like a completely different person. She agreed, said she deserved any name I called her. Then, finally, she confessed what was really going on. She told me she'd become extremely jealous, seeing how close I was to my sister and realizing the depth of the years and memories we shared. It made her envious, hurt, wishing we had something as deep as the bond my sister and I have. She said, "You two grew up together and always hit each other. I wish we had that." I tried to reassure her that what she and I have can grow and become special too, that it shouldn't make her see my sister as competition. But I couldn't let the conversation end there. I reminded her how what she did, venting her feelings on my sister, was wrong. No amount of jealousy justified that cruelty. She agreed completely. She was horrified at herself. She told me one thing that had stung was my birthday present to my sister. I'd gotten my sister a hardcover copy of Anne of Green Gables, her old childhood favorite. I'd even written a note inside. My girlfriend remembered how my sister had cried with happiness, not because of the book, but because I'd remembered how much it meant to her. Meanwhile, I'd gotten my girlfriend an expensive piece of jewelry for her own recent birthday, a nice gift, but not as thoughtful or meaningful. I apologized, explaining that I hadn't realized how it had made her feel. I told her that with time, we would forge our own set of memories and inside jokes, and I'd learn all those small things that make her light up. But I couldn't overlook the way she'd treated my sister. I made it clear that if she couldn't truly treat my sister with kindness, there couldn't be a relationship between us at all. My sister wasn't just anyone, she was family, and a particularly vulnerable one at that. My sister has a history of depression, sometimes slipping back into those dark places, and she's more sensitive than most. We both needed to be mindful of that. My girlfriend promised she'd do better, that she'd apologize from the heart. I told her I hoped that was true, because she was so welcoming when she first met my sister. If she could be that person again, things could work out. Afterward, I went to talk to my sister, but she just couldn't handle seeing my girlfriend. My sister was still too hurt, and didn't even want to hear another apology. She thought nothing my girlfriend said would mean anything. I told her I understood. I was sorry, and I would give her all the time she needed. If she never wanted to forgive my girlfriend, that was her choice to make. But then she said something that really hit me. She told me she wished I'd never come back for her birthday, that it was happier when it was just her and our parents. My return, with my girlfriend, had just turned her world upside down. It hurt, but I offered to send my girlfriend away for the next 2 weeks so my sister and I could have time together. My sister refused. She didn't want to force my girlfriend out. I suggested we go to the beach again, just like old times. She flat out refused and swore never to go back. When I asked her why, she just broke down again, crying out about her scars. The mere mention of them unlocked all her pain again. She said, "I'm a freak. Why did I even cut myself?" And sobbed even harder. All I could do was reassure her, her scars didn't make her less. She's been through hell and back, and I'm so proud of her. Anyone who would judge her for those scars just doesn't deserve to know her at all. Still, she said she'd never let anyone see them again. The next day, hoping for a little light, I went out with my girlfriend to buy some swim shorts for my sister. I figured, maybe if she wore those over her bikini, she could cover the scars and feel more comfortable if she ever did want to go to the beach. My girlfriend thought it was a wonderful idea. We picked out several pairs, hoping one would make her feel happy. When we gave them to her, she seemed genuinely delighted. Still, she's upset, anxious, and she just doesn't seem able to be herself around my girlfriend anymore. She's walking around with this extra burden, self-conscious, haunted by what my girlfriend said. I find myself considering whether I should ask my girlfriend to go home, so I can spend the rest of my time with my family. My sister needs me to be there for her, and she's just not ready for reconciliation. I'm worried that now, whenever she sees my girlfriend, she'll relive those awful, shaming words and spiral into self-hate for her scars again. I might have to accept that my relationship with my girlfriend just can't move forward if it means causing my sister this kind of pain. I feel completely torn. Part of me wants to fight for what I have with my girlfriend, and part of me knows my sister's well-being has to come first. How do I heal this mess? Do I send my girlfriend home early, or keep trying to mend the rift? Is there a way to help them see each other differently? Or is it just time to acknowledge the rift and keep them apart? Most importantly, how do I help my sister feel less alone and horrible in all this? What should I do, for her, for my girlfriend, and for myself? Update 1. My girlfriend is now my ex-girlfriend. She's gone, it's over, and I sent her home for good. I won't ever see her again. The first thing I did was go straight to my sister and apologize. I poured out how sorry I was for failing her, for choosing my girlfriend's side and giving her more chances, even after all the cruelty she showed my own sister. There's no denying I had been a shit, useless brother. I should have protected her, stood by her, but I let her down, and I made that clear in my apology. Guilt and shame washed over me as I confessed that I had failed her when she needed me most. Standing there, I promised her I would never let her be put in that kind of situation again, ever. I swore to her, truly swore, that this was a promise I meant with all my heart, and I would live up to it. She forgave me so quickly it broke my heart all over again. She told me she had been desperately hoping I would finally break up with my girlfriend and send her home, but she didn't want to pressure me directly. Then she reassured me, telling me over and over that I wasn't a terrible brother, and I shouldn't be so hard on myself. But I had to be honest. I told her how deeply I felt I'd let her down, and I would make it right starting now. After that, I explained everything to my parents, every detail, what happened, why my girlfriend was no longer in my life, and that from now on, we're done for good. I told them the next 2 weeks we get to spend together as a family, just us. I meant it when I said I was genuinely looking forward to that more than anything. Both of my parents supported my decision. They said I'd made the right call and reassured me, but I admitted how I regretted not acting sooner. Again, the guilt about letting my sister down weighed heavily on me, but my parents forgave me and understood why it all happened the way it did. A few people had asked about the shorts I'd bought for my sister. Looking back, it was a chance for me to reflect. I realized they were sending the wrong message, that she needed to cover up her scars. I told her the shorts were just something I picked up if she wanted them, but I didn't think she needed them. I told her there's nothing she has to hide, those scars are nothing to be ashamed of. In my eyes, they're beautiful, they are proof of her strength, a testament that she survived and fought through so much and came out on top. In my opinion, she is a hero. She is, and always will be, my hero, the bravest, strongest person I've ever known. After I said all that, I could see genuine happiness on her face, and on my parents, too. She told me that she wasn't feeling nearly as bad about the scars as she had the last few days and that she felt ready to go to the beach again. Update 2. It's been 2 weeks since I sent my ex home, and honestly, things with my family have been incredible. My sister and I went back to the beach, and for the first time in years, she wore her bikini without any covering. She was nervous at first, but I could see her confidence growing throughout the day. We built sandcastles like we used to as kids, and she actually laughed, really laughed, for the first time since this whole mess started. But then yesterday happened, and I'm still processing it all. My sister had gone into town to pick up groceries when my phone started blowing up with notifications. Instagram, Snapchat, messages from friends I hadn't heard from in months. My stomach dropped when I opened the first message. It was a screenshot of my ex's Instagram story. She'd posted a long rant about me and my family, but specifically targeting my sister. She'd somehow gotten photos of my sister in her bikini from that day at the beach. I'm still trying to figure out how. Maybe she took them secretly before everything went to hell. But she'd posted them with captions calling my sister psychotic and manipulative, claiming my sister had been seducing me all along and that our relationship was weird and inappropriate. The worst part? She'd circled my sister's scars in the photos and written things like attention seeker and look what crazy looks like. The post had already been shared dozens of times before I even saw it. I was shaking with rage. I immediately started screenshotting everything before she could delete it, then reported all her accounts. But the damage was spreading fast. People from our college, mutual friends, even some of my sister's old high school classmates were seeing it. When my sister came home and saw me frantically on my phone, she knew something was wrong. I tried to hide it, but she kept pressing until I finally had to show her. The look on her face. I've never seen her so devastated. She just stared at the screen for what felt like forever, then quietly asked, "How many people have seen this?" I couldn't lie to her. By then, it was everywhere. She didn't cry this time. She just went completely silent and walked to her room. I heard her lock the door, and no matter how much I knocked and called her name, she wouldn't respond. My parents came home to me practically having a panic attack outside her door. After my dad finally got her to open up, we found out she'd already deactivated all her social media accounts and was researching how to transfer to a different college. She was talking about changing her name, moving across the country, completely starting over because she was convinced everyone would recognize her as that girl from the viral post. That's when my mom dropped a bombshell. She told us she'd been in contact with a lawyer friend about potentially pressing charges against my ex for harassment and sharing intimate images without consent. Apparently, some of those beach photos could legally qualify, especially since my sister was in a state of undress and they were shared maliciously. But here's the thing that's really messing with my head. Later that night, my sister pulled me aside and asked me something that made my blood run cold. She asked if I thought there was any truth to what my ex had said about us being inappropriate. I was horrified that she'd even think that, but then she explained that she'd been getting messages from people asking if we were actually together, if that's why my ex was so jealous. Some people were even saying our relationship seemed too close and that maybe my ex had a point. I assured her that what we have is completely normal sibling love, but I could see the doubt creeping into her eyes. She started questioning every memory we shared, wondering if people had always thought something was wrong with how close we were. The whole situation has gotten so twisted. My ex's lies are not only destroying my sister's reputation but also poisoning the most important relationship in my life. Now my sister is pulling away from me, second-guessing every hug, every inside joke, every moment of the bond we've built over the years. Yesterday, she asked me not to come to her room anymore when she's upset. She said she needed to establish boundaries so people wouldn't get the wrong idea. It's like my ex is still here, still finding ways to hurt us both even from hundreds of miles away. I've tried reaching out to my ex to demand she take everything down, but she's blocked me everywhere. My parents' lawyer friend says we might have a case, but it could take months to get the content removed, and by then, the damage might be irreversible. The worst part is watching my sister retreat into herself again. She started wearing long sleeves and pants even in this heat, and I caught her looking up information about scar removal procedures. All the progress she'd made, all the confidence she'd built up, it's crumbling, and I don't know how to fix it. I keep thinking I should have seen this coming. My ex was jealous enough to be cruel to my sister's face. Of course she'd find a way to strike back after I ended things. But I never imagined she'd go this far, or that her poison would seep so deep into our family. Now I'm wondering if bringing her into our lives was the biggest mistake I've ever made, and if the damage she's caused will ever truly heal. Update 3. It's been 3 weeks since the social media nightmare, and I thought the worst was behind us. I was wrong, so incredibly wrong. Last Monday, I got a call from my sister while I was back at college. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. Between sobs, she managed to tell me that someone had printed out screenshots of my ex's posts and taped them all over her dorm building. Not just a few, dozens of them, covering bulletin boards, bathroom mirrors, even slipped under doors. The captions were even worse than the original posts, with added comments like psycho sister and freak show. I immediately drove the 4 hours back home, skipping all my classes. When I got there, my sister was in bad shape, worse than I'd seen her since her darkest depression years. She'd barely eaten in days and kept asking me if I thought she was damaged goods now, if anyone would ever want to be with her knowing about her past. But here's where it gets complicated, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. While I was comforting my sister, going through her phone to help her block more accounts that were sending nasty messages, I found something that made my stomach drop. She'd been texting with someone named Jake for the past 2 weeks, long, intimate conversations that went way beyond friendship. At first, I thought maybe she'd found someone who genuinely cared about her, someone helping her through this mess. But as I read more, I know, invasion of privacy, but I was worried about her safety. I realized Jake had been specifically seeking her out because of the viral posts. He'd seen the photos, read about her struggles, and was using all of it to manipulate her. The messages started supportive, telling her she was beautiful, that her scars showed strength, that people were just jealous of her. But then they got progressively more inappropriate. He was asking for more photos, claiming he understood her pain and wanted to take care of her. He'd even convinced her to meet up with him twice while I was at college. When I confronted her about it, she broke down completely. She admitted that after feeling so rejected and judged by everyone, Jake's attention felt like a lifeline. She said she knew it was probably wrong, but she felt so worthless that even bad attention seemed better than none. She begged me not to tell our parents. That's when she dropped another bombshell. Jake wasn't some random internet creep, he was someone we knew. Remember my ex's friend group? The ones who'd been sharing and commenting on her posts? Jake was one of them. He'd been feeding information back to my ex about my sister's mental state, her vulnerabilities, everything. I felt sick. This wasn't just cyberbullying anymore, this was a coordinated attack. My ex was using this guy to get to my sister, to keep hurting her even from a distance. And my sister, in her vulnerable state, had walked right into it. The worst part came when my sister showed me her latest messages with Jake. He'd been pressuring her to send more revealing photos, claiming it would help her embrace her body and overcome her shame. He was specifically requesting pictures that showed her scars, saying they made her unique and beautiful. Looking back at their conversations, I could see how he'd gradually worn down her defenses, making her feel like he was the only one who truly accepted her. I wanted to drive straight to wherever this creep lived and beat him senseless, but my sister stopped me. She was terrified that if I confronted him, he'd share whatever photos she'd already sent to more people, or worse, back to my ex. She was trapped, and she knew it. We spent that entire night awake, trying to figure out what to do. My sister was convinced her life was over, that she'd be known forever as the crazy girl from the posts. She kept saying she should have listened to Jake and just accepted that this was her reality now. But then something unexpected happened. The next morning, my sister got a call from a number she didn't recognize. It was a girl named Maria from her high school, someone my sister barely remembered. Maria had seen the posts circulating and was calling to tell my sister something that changed everything. She told us that my ex had done this before. Back in high school, she'd targeted another girl who'd gotten close to someone she was dating. Maria had watched my ex systematically destroy this girl's reputation through social media, spreading lies and intimate photos until the girl had to transfer schools. The pattern was identical: first the direct confrontation, then the social media campaign, then the coordinated harassment through mutual friends. Maria had kept screenshots from years ago, thinking she might need them someday. She offered to help us build a case, to show that this was a pattern of behavior, not just a one-time act of revenge. For the first time in weeks, I saw hope in my sister's eyes. But that hope quickly turned to fear when I suggested we take everything to the police and the college administration. She was terrified that going public would just make everything worse, that more people would see the photos and judge her. That evening, while we were discussing our options with our parents, my sister's phone buzzed with a text from Jake. This time, he wasn't asking for photos or offering fake comfort. He was threatening her. If she didn't meet him the next day, he'd make sure everyone knew about their relationship and would share everything she'd sent him. That's when my dad finally lost it. He'd been quietly supportive throughout this whole mess, but seeing his daughter being blackmailed broke something in him. He grabbed the phone and called Jake directly, and I could hear the guy's voice change from cocky to scared in seconds when my dad threatened to press charges and have him arrested. But Jake's final words before hanging up still haunt me: "You think this is over? Your sister's going to be dealing with this for years. There are copies everywhere now, and people don't forget. She'll never escape what she is." My sister hasn't spoken since that call. She's not crying, she's not angry, she's just empty. She sits in her room, staring at the wall, and I can see her retreating to that dark place she fought so hard to escape from years ago. I don't know what to do anymore. Every time we think we've hit rock bottom, someone finds a new way to hurt her. And the worst part is, I'm starting to wonder if maybe we should have just stayed quiet, if fighting back is just making everything worse for her. The lawyer says we have a strong case now, especially with Maria's evidence of the pattern and Jake's blackmail attempt. But my sister just keeps asking if any of it will actually make her life better, or if it'll just put her through more public humiliation. I'm scared I'm losing her again, and this time, I don't know if I can pull her back.